Villager arrested after a two-vehicle crash. Villager in a golf cart crashes in a gate arm at the hospital. Villager blames his cinch bug problem on his neighbor. A villager hopes to double their profit on a home they bought in the Villages. Former mayor's home, subject of public hearing in the Villages. Police threatened to use taser to stop a suspicious subject at Spanish Springs. Wildwood magistrate approves 500 more lots for Wildwood's second largest subdivision. No holes in ones this week. Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Let's have some more news. A home in the village of Chitty Chatty has been listed for $1.125 million. The 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom Woodside designer home is located at 4878 Chitty Chatty Run. It was purchased in 2020 by Jay and Janet Seaman for $682,900. The real estate listing promises that the home offers a blend of elegance, comfort, and functionality. It offers a 2-car garage with golf cart garage, a solar-heated saltwater pool which offers a water view. The listing also toots a dream kitchen with a farm sink, stainless steel appliances, and breakfast bar. The laundry room includes upper and lower cabinets and a laundry sink for added convenience. The village of Chitty Chatty is located south of State Road 44 and is in the Community Development District 13. 3 plats covering nearly 500 lots in the Twisted Oaks development were recommended for approval Tuesday by Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt at a meeting of the Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. The City Commission may take up to 3 plats in January, with up to 1,210 homes planned on about 400 acres west of US 301 Railroad Bridge on both sides of County Road 462. Twisted Oaks will be Wildwood's second largest residential development, smaller only than the villages of Southern Oaks. Plans call for 735 single-family homes, 248 townhomes, and 277 multi-family housing units. Twisted Oaks also is expected to include up to 165,000 square feet of commercial and industrial space. Holt recommended approval of Phase 2 final plats for Twisted Oaks with 215 lots on 35 acres. Twisted Oaks townhomes with 128 lots on 9.5 acres, and the Highfield at Twisted Oaks with 140 lots on 25 acres. Highfield will be north of County Road 462, while the 2 other areas are south. A villager was arrested after an angry outburst prompted by a 2-vehicle crash. Albert Allen Simpler, 77, who lives on Julian Loop in the village of Hawkins, has been riding as a passenger in a vehicle involved in an accident Tuesday night in the area of Morse Boulevard and Warm Springs Avenue, according to the arrest report of the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A man told deputies that after both vehicles stopped as a result of the crash, Simpler got out of his vehicle, which was being driven by a woman, and began using foul language. The man said Simpler had his fist balled up when he was approached by Simpler. The man said Simpler shoved him twice. A woman was passing by and attempted to inquire about the situation, but Simpler began poking her with his finger, the report said. The Wisconsin native was placed under arrest for battery. Prior to being booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, he was taken to UF Health Emergency Clinic at Brownwood for medical clearance. I almost have nothing to say anymore. None of this surprises me at all anymore. A retirement community. That's what keeps going through my mind. A couple who bought a brand new home in the Villages in 2022 have found themselves in violation of deed compliance after a cinch bug invasion. Brent Frazier and Cheryl Peterson were called before a special master in a deed compliance hearing this week at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. The couple bought the patio villa 2 years ago in the village of DeLuna for $276,500. A complaint was lodged July 30 regarding dead grass and weeds. Frazier told community centers that his yard had been invaded by cinch bugs and he had hired Dean's Services to combat the pests. Frazier claimed the cinch bugs came from his neighbor's yard. Cinch bugs are very small insects that live in the turf, according to the University of Florida Extension Services. They feed by draining the sap from the grass until it withers. Cinch bugs like to hide in between the sheaths of the leaves blades and in the thatch layer in the turf. Areas damaged by cinch bugs appear as yellow and brown patches. Special Master Terry Neal reviewed photos submitted as evidence during the public hearing and observed that a photo dated stamp on November 27 showed the cinch bug siege was still raging in the yard. It does look better, but it still looks bad, Neal said. It doesn't look like Dean's treatment has been doing much good for the past 4 or 5 months. Community Standards has called for the yard to be reseeded or resodded. However, Neal, a retired Lake County judge, thought that might be a bit severe. Fraser noted that he has filed an application for new landscaping with Architectural Review Committee. He suggested that would ultimately rectify the cinch bug problem. However, Neal noted that the ARC has not approved the couple's application. Neal granted the couple 45 days to get the yard straightened out. That would give them until mid-January to either get the new landscaping in place or eradicate the cinch bugs. If the couple fails to do so, fines could be imposed. Well, let me just say, we had cinch bugs too, and truthfully, Susan one takes care of this, but we have a yard company that comes in. From the north, we have problems here that I've never seen up north, and I really don't know how to handle it. And for no more than what they charge us, we just let them take care of it. But they took care of our cinch bug problem. It's a recurring problem. It just doesn't go away and stay away. And when we also got invaded when I first moved here by something I never heard of called a mole cricket. It's not a fake name, it's a real thing. And they had to come out and eradicate them. Now, let me just simply say this real quick. Those of you buying new homes here, I don't care what kind of home it is, your grass in your new home is guaranteed or warranted for 30 days from the time you sign that paperwork and the house becomes yours. A villager in a golf cart seeking emergency room care crashed into the gate arm in the parking lot of UF Health Spanish Plains Hospital. Richard Palladino, 65, was disheveled and wearing a black robe, sweatpants, and no shirt when a Sumter County Sheriff's deputy arrived late Saturday night to investigate a report of a golf cart crash. Palladino's red club cart golf cart was caught on video surveillance as it rammed a gate arm in a parking lot near the emergency room. He proceeded to drive the golf cart under the overhang at the main entrance to the ER. He had suffered an injured hip when he fell over a toolbox at his home on the historic side of the Villages, according to the arrest report. He apparently drove the golf cart to the hospital seeking treatment for his injury. When the deputy attempted to interview Palladino while he was in a hospital bed, it appeared the resident of the historic side of the Villages was impaired. Palladino agreed to participate in field sobriety exercises while lying in bed, but he struggled to touch the tip of his nose. He refused to provide a breath sample. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. The Connecticut native was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $500 bond. Let me throw this in here real quick because we are in snowbird season. The number one injury of people 65 years old and older is from falling, and this guy shows that. Be careful. An 82-year-old villager allegedly shoved a woman to the floor during a domestic quarrel. David Lawrence Carroll of the village of Pennycamp, nice area Pennycamp, was taken into custody Wednesday after Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were summoned to investigate a domestic battery complaint. A woman said Carroll shoved her down onto the floor after she got into his face, according to the arrest report. In the fall, the woman hit her head on a door frame. A third person witnessed the altercation. The report did not disclose the nature of Carroll's relationship with the woman. Carroll was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native was initially held without bond. You know, I look at this guy, and I could be totally wrong here. You guys have just been following me for a while. Does he look familiar? An elderly couple in the Villages is facing a potential $50 daily fines over window air conditioning at their home. The home of Edward and Maria Briggs at 1114 Lentz Lane on the historic side of the Villages was the subject of a public hearing Monday at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. A complaint was received September 4 about air conditioning units in the windows at the manufactured home, which dates back to 1986. The couple, now in their 90s, bought the home in 2002 for $80,000. In testimony at the public hearing, a representative of Community Standards testified that attempts have been made to contact the couple via letters, voicemails, and emails. Special Master Terry Neal granted the couple 5 days to remove the window air conditioners. If the units are not removed, the couple will face daily fines of $50 until the units are removed. Well, first of all, I kind of find this whole thing a little ridiculous myself. In their 90s, and here we're talking about voicemails and emails. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say in their 90s, they probably don't even know what email is, don't understand it, and probably don't do it. Voicemails, I don't know. I'm thinking about my dad. I don't think he could even hear well enough to do a voicemail. So far as I know, in the 90s, maybe they don't hear really well at all. And as far as the air conditioner goes, look, if it comes in a life and death situation, I really wouldn't care what your rules are. If my air conditioner goes out here and it's going to take a company, let's say 6 weeks to get me a new air conditioner to fix the one that I've got, or a heat pump to get it fixed and get it going again, I'm not sitting in a 100-degree house. I'm going to put a window air conditioner in, whether the villages likes it or whether they don't like it. If they don't like it, take me to court, because I'm not going to lay in here at an old age and suffer with heat exhaustion and a heat stroke. It ain't happening. So I say cut these people a little slack. Maybe go beyond your authority and help a little bit. Knock on the door, go in there and find out what's going on. Is there anything we can do to help? That's all I got to say. The former mayor of Lady Lake's home was the subject of a deed compliance case Monday in the Villages. A complaint was lodged August 26 about the home at 913 Orchid Street on the historic side of the Villages due to mold on the home, overgrown grass, and weeds. The home is owned by James Wrights, who served as mayor of Lady Lake up until he was knocked off in the commission race in 2023 by Mike Sage, a fellow resident of the historic side. During the public hearing at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing, a member of the Community Standards testified that the department has been unable to contact the homeowner both at the residence or by phone. Notices of the public hearing was sent by regular mail and certified mail. Wrights did not attend the public hearing. Community Standards noted the grass has been cut, but the mold and weeds remained as an inspection November 27. Special Magistrate Terry Neal granted Wright 7 days to remove the mold and weeds. If the problem are not remedied, the district will power wash the moldy area and spray the weeds. Fine will be imposed to cover the cost of the maintenance. Reached by phone after the meeting, Wrights told villagesnews.com that he is planning to sell the property. The former Illinois resident said he recently got married and is moving to Fruitland Park. Now, come on, Mayor. The project-wide advisory committee is being asked to fund an urgent pipe repair after a sinkhole opened up at Seabreeze Recreation Center. A naturally forming geological ground depression recently formed beside the golf cart parking lot near the sports courts and sand volleyball area at the recreation center, according to a memo from District Property Management Director Mike Harris. The sinkhole is being attributed to a deteriorating 54-inch metal stormwater pipe in a nearby retention pond. The deterioration is being blamed on age. That's true of all of us. We're all deteriorating. The Department of Property Management must urgently repair the stormwater pipe and restore the landscaping to prevent the depression from expanding and causing further damage and minimize the potential safety threat to residents and guests of the villages, Harris said in a memo. Proposals have been received from Atlantic Pipe Services in the amount of $74,172 for repair of the pipe and in the amount of $26,537.50 for hardscapes of Central Florida to restore the landscaping. The total cost of the project would be more than $125,000. PWAC members will meet at 8:30 a.m. Monday, December 9 at Seabreeze Rec Center to consider the project. Man, I don't know. I'm not in this business, but $125,000 to replace an old metal pipe and throw in some cheap bushes. That just seems like a ripoff to me. But hey, I don't know, so don't throw darts at me. Well, I've got several stories about roundabout problems. Roundabouts are a killer down here. Beware. A drunk driving suspect was found urinating in the bushes after crashing in a roundabout in the Villages. A red 2018 Ford SUV crashed at about 6:30 p.m. Monday in a roundabout at Buena Vista Boulevard and Bailey Trail near the Lake Meona Recreation Center, according to a arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Witnesses called 911 and provided a description of the driver who fled on foot from the crash scene. The disabled vehicle was ditched in the roundabout with one of the airbags deployed. An empty Foster's beer can and metal tumbler which contained an alcoholic beverage was found in the SUV. The driver, later identified as 54-year-old Leonardo something Zaluga, name will be in the picture, was spotted urinating in some bushes. A deputy found that Zaluga was highly intoxicated and had burn marks and abrasions on his knee consistent with airbag deployment. The native of Colombia provided an address in the Catherine Villas in the Villages. An owner with the same Zaluga surname sold a villa in 2021 to another couple. When Zaluga was arrested earlier this year on a charge of driving while license suspended, he was living in an apartment in Wildwood. In 2021, he had been arrested in a drunk driving incident at Lake Sumter Landing. That makes 2. Zaluga struggled through field sobriety exercises. He provided breath samples that registered .181 and .171 blood alcohol content. He was taken to UF Health Emergency Clinic at Brownwood. After he was medically cleared, he was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on charges including driving under the influence, leaving the scene of an accident, and driving while license suspended. Bond was set at $12,500. A villager was arrested on a drunk driving charge after crashing into a light pole in a roundabout. Richard Eugene Rogers, 59, of the village of Pennycamp, was driving a blue Toyota Camry shortly before 7 p.m. Wednesday when he crashed through the roundabout and launched into the air, striking a light pole, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. His vehicle was disabled due to the crash and came to a stop in the middle of a turn lane. A witness told deputies Rogers' vehicle had been traveling at a high rate of speed just prior to the impact. When a deputy spoke to Rogers, the deputy could immediately smell the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from his mouth. The Georgia native said he had consumed 3 beers while at home. A half-empty 377 milliliter bottle of Fireball whiskey was found in his car. Rogers began taking part in the field sobriety exercises but refused to continue, stating he wanted to plead the fifth. He provided breath samples that registered .154 and .151 blood alcohol content. A computer check revealed Rogers had been convicted in 2018 in Duval County of driving under the influence. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $1,000 bond. There will be another report of a roundabout problem, but I'm going to put that on Patreon and YouTube members only. A suspect on a bicycle who tried to flee from police was threatened with a taser during a chase at Spanish Springs. Brian David Farr, 41, of Lady Lake, was riding a bicycle without proper lighting shortly before 10 p.m. Saturday in the area of Page Place and Main Street, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. An officer ordered Farr to step off the bicycle, but Farr began pedaling away at a high rate of speed. The officer used his patrol car with lights and sirens activated to pursue Farr, who rode through the parking lot at Ruby Tuesday and crashed his bicycle into the vicinity of 27 and 441 and Main Street. The officer continued to chase Farr on foot and warned Farr, who has a lengthy criminal record, I'm shocked, that if he did not halt, he would be tasered. Fellow officers helped take Farr into custody. He was found to be in possession of cocaine and drug paraphernalia. He was arrested on charges of fleeing to elude a law enforcement, resisting arrest, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. He was booked at the Lake County Jail on a $10,500 bond. People, please, look at this guy. If he does that to himself, he doesn't give a damn about you. Just stay away from these people. Okay, I'm going to give you something a little different this week. Maintenance goes on around here getting ready for Christmas. But this is general maintenance that goes on all the time. The Finney Recreation Center family pool will be closed for pool furniture replacement on Wednesday, December the 11th. This schedule may be adjusted due to unforeseen circumstances, including weather. If you have any questions and need to have any additional information, contact the Fanny Recreation Center at 352-674-8460. Some of this you might be getting it late, but you get an idea what we do around here before holidays. And this is just a small amount of stuff. The Paradise Dog Park will be closed for sod replacement Monday, December 9 through December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. The schedule may be adjusted due to unforeseen circumstances, including weather. If you have any questions, once again, contact the Paradise Recreation Center at 352-753-0637. If you remember right, they were talking about the Paradise Park getting replaced with artificial turf at one time or another, and that was voted out because of the expense. Paradise Recreation Center is on the historic side. That recreation center has been there since the very beginning of time, and it's going to get tore down and a brand new is going to be built. Having trouble finding holiday gifts? The Seabreeze Glass Fusion Club. I've been there at their meetings a couple of times. I'm telling you, these people can do some great work. Just gorgeous stuff. The Seabreeze Glass Fusion Club will hold a last-minute holiday sale on Sunday, December the 8th at the Seabreeze Recreation Center. The event will be from 1 to 3 p.m. There will be a selection of unique handcrafted items created by artists in the villages. If you've never been to one, even if you don't tend to buy, if you get a chance, just go look at their stuff. It's pretty cool. The Sterling Heights Recreation Family Pool will be closed for maintenance on Monday, December the 9th. The schedule may be adjusted due to unforeseen circumstances, including weather. If you have any questions or additional information is needed, contact the Sterling Heights Recreation Center at 352-753-4510. So as you can see, with all the different rec centers, that's where a lot of the families go to do one thing or another. That's where a lot of the clubs go, all kinds of stuff. And they're cleaning them up and getting them fixed for the holidays. But like I said, this is the kind of things that goes on all through the year. A restaurant with a rooftop bar promises to be the hot new social hub when it is unveiled in 2025 in the new Eastport Town Square Center in the Villages. The 250-acre Eastport complex promises to bring together recreation, trails, parks, dining, and shopping on the shores of Central Lake. Plans have been announced for FMK Restaurant Group, great, to open a restaurant at Eastport. The restaurant will be called Prime and Amber. The main floor will feature an open kitchen and elegant dining with white tablecloths. A highlight of the restaurant will be a rooftop bar, which will offer a stunning view of the waterfront. In addition to cocktails, those at the bar will be treated to live music. FMK Restaurant Group operates the popular restaurant The Chop House at Lake Sumter Landing, Bluefin Grill and Bar at Brownwood, as well as the Coastal Del Mar Seafood Restaurants and the new Bella Vita Italian Steakhouse. No such thing as an Italian steak. Both at Spanish Springs Town Square, among others. Earlier this year, the company launched Booster's Bar and Grill near the new Shallow Creek Championship Golf Course. Now, I asked Jose specifically if that was a FMK restaurant, and he told me Booster's was owned by the developer. In addition, FMK Restaurant runs the Belglade Country Club, Bonifay Country Club, Evans Prairie Country Club, and Orange Blossom Hills Golf and Country Club. It's almost like a monopoly around here. A proposed development up for approval would put more traffic on Lake Ella Road. The Fruitland Park Commission will hold a hearing during Thursday 6 p.m. meeting regarding the proposed 145-acre subdivision called the Enclave at Lake Geneva. The developer Fruitland Park Development 4 LLC is seeking an annexation of a 9.67-acre parcel into the city and the addition of that parcel to the original 135.4-acre parcel. The development would be located on the south edge of Lake Ella Road and west of U.S. Highway 27 and 441. It would include up to 416 housing units. I like the way they call homes. Units. Both Lake Ella Road and U.S. Highway 27 and 441 have been given a D rating by the Florida Department of Transportation. When roads are given a D rating, it means that the roads are approaching an unstable flow with drivers having little freedom to select their own speeds. Huh? Directly across from the proposed subdivision in Hidden Oaks and Pageant Estates subdivision entrances open to Lake Ella Road. To the west along Lake Ella Road, Green Key Estates, and the Lake Ella Manor all exit onto Lake Ella Road. All these subdivisions have been annexed into Lady Lake. A convicted counterfeit is back in trouble after spending bogus bills on groceries, golf balls, and margaritas. Raymond Chaglinski, 39 of Wildwood, was arrested this past week by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies on warrants charging him with multiple counts of fraud. In October, he went to Aldi grocery store on U.S. Highway 27 and 441 in Lady Lake and used a counterfeit $100 bill to pay for $43.71 worth of merchandise, receiving $56.29 in change, according to the arrest report from the Sheriff's Office. A manager discovered the phony money in the cashier's drawer. Detective used video surveillance from the Aldi incident to connect the suspected fraudster to a September 27th crime which had occurred at Continental Country Club in Wildwood. Continental Country Club, for those of you that don't know, is basically directly across the street from Brownwood here in the Villages. A man had consumed a margarita and a sweet tea at the bar at the country club and used a fraudulent $100 bill to pay the tab. He also went to the pro shop and bought a Pinnacle Rush 15-ball pack for $19.99, 2 bottles of water, a Snickers candy bar, and a Reese's peanut butter cup for $28.63 using a counterfeit $100 bill. He was also connected to counterfeit money spent in June at a local Dollar General store. All 3 incidents were caught on video surveillance. Chaklinski was convicted of counterfeiting in 2022 and 2023 in Lake County. He was also convicted of grand theft in 2000 in Marion County. He's in every one of these counties right here, Lake, Marion, and Sumter. So he lives right around this area here, and this is what he does. Be careful. How about the letter to the editor? I'm going to warn you now, there's only one letter to the editor that I can read you. Everything for the whole week. Everything. About nothing except politics in it. People just won't let it go. Elections are over. Move on. To the editor. Nothing to you, but to the person that reported to the village's authorities about a couple in their 90s being forced to remove their air conditioner. I did news on that just on this report. I am outraged that these neighbors or village nosy gang out to make people's lives miserable. They're 90 years old. They may not be able to afford to replace or repair the household air conditioner, so a window unit will give them some comfort on hot days. Why does this unit bother anyone else? It's not an eyesore, and it gives this elderly couple just a little comfort. I recently moved to the Villages, and I hate some of the things nosy neighbors will do. That has nothing to do with them. Grouchy people with nothing left to do with their miserable lives, so they make problems with other people. That's sent in by Mick Whitaker from the village of Orange Blossom. I thought it was Orange Blossom Gardens, but maybe it's just the village of Orange Blossom. Well, I agree with you, Mick. Elderly people, 90 years old, come on. Just go knock on the door and ask them if everything's okay and if there's anything you can do to help. I just don't get people nowadays. Well, anyway, I believe that's going to be the news for this week. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming and watching. And once again, I dedicate my news to all my Patreon and YouTube members. I'm just going to say, this is going to be the last news for the month of December. I'm not going to do any more until after the first of the year, not on YouTube. So I'll just get out of here and say I hope you all have a very good holiday for Christmas and for New Year's coming up. I haven't met all of you yet, and I want to. So just be safe, be well, take care.
And don't leave that key in that golf cart.
I've been hanging marbles in the tree, and I've lit my house with Christmas lights, so you should come back home to me. And when we wake up in the morning, I'm gonna play those carols that you love. We'll be singing all the melodies until the sun comes up. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la da da da, oh, 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 oh. It's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, yeah. I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories.